So I don't know if you guys have had similar stories or like having cops involved or just any like outrages like that.
I had a customer stab a cop.
What do you mean?
So it was like early one day, like 8 a.m. Like she was there. This customer was there before even the salespeople were, and she was just like waiting outside. And so I was like one of the first ones there. So I started talking to her, and she seemed like a normal person. She was put together. She was, you could tell like she like worked out and stuff like that. Didn't seem like there was anything off about her or anything. But as I started talking to her, you kind of get like this weird vibe from her. She's kind of all over the place. She had a car that she bought. It was a Frontier that she bought from CarMax like a week before, and she's like, "I hate this thing. I don't want it." And that was kind of like a red flag right away because now all of a sudden she wanted like an Altima or something, and it was like that's kind of weird how after a week you lose interest in a truck. But I was like, okay, whatever. And this was like fresh after COVID, so we weren't going on test drives with customers. So she had a license, she had insurance. I copied that, put her on the road, and then while she was on the test drive, her mom showed up, like drove in super fast, was freaking out, and was like, "Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter?" And I was like, "Oh, well, she's on a test drive right now." And she's like, "My daughter's crazy. You didn't go with her?" And I'm like, "No, I mean she has
Was I
everything she
supposed to
needs."
check if she was crazy before she went,
Yeah,
ma'am?
I
I'm
mean, she had
sorry.
everything she needed, so I put her on the road. She's just out driving the car, and she's like, she thinks the government talks to her through the radio, and she thinks
That's
that there's like,
schizophrenia.
I would have been
yeah,
like, ma'am, how did you let your daughter out of the house without you
yeah,
doing
like that's
this?
not my fault. I mean, she has everything she needs, so she's on the road, and then she eventually came back, so it wasn't a big deal, and then she ended up buying the car, and it was like a 10 pounder deal because she just said yes to everything, and I was like, okay, sweet, all right, and uh, and after the sale, like for like days and weeks after, she would like send me texts, like she added like dinosaur stickers to the back of the car, and she would just text me a video of her like filming close up of the stickers and whatnot. I'm like, I mean, okay, whatever, cool, looks great. I made some good money on you. I'll entertain it as long as I need to. And then one day I was at home. I was off that day, and I was like sitting on the couch watching TV or something, and my girlfriend was next to me, and my phone rings, and I didn't know what the number was. I never saved her number or anything, and my phone rings, and I check it, and I answer. I'm like, "Hello." And in car sales, you get calls all the time. People give your number out to other people, and she's like, "Hey, it's me." And I'm like, "Oh God." She's like, "Hey, I'm not doing anything later. Do you want to come over?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a little busy." And she's like, "Well, when do you not work?" And I'm like, "I always work." Just trying to just get out of it. And then the next day, the very next day from that, when she called me, the finance manager that did the deal, he calls me into his office. He's like, "Hey, did you check the news today?" I'm like, no, I didn't. Why?" He's like, "Well, our customer, the lady that traded in the Frontier," and immediately I knew who he was talking about. He said her mom just called and said that she's in jail. So you might want to check the news. And I pull up the news article, and she had like the morning after she wanted me to hang out at like 4 in the morning. She drove to the Clark County bus station where they keep all the buses, and all the bus drivers were like coming in for the morning to go on their routes and pick up kids. And she comes peeling in the car that I sold her, and she whips out of the car and she comes running up to everybody, and she's like, "Hey, hey, I need a dollar, please. Does anybody have a dollar? I need a dollar right now, please." And they're like, "No, we don't have a dollar." And she like kept harassing him. They called the police. The police show up a couple minutes later, and this officer comes up just to ask her what's going on, and she just slashes him in the face with a knife, just across the cheek, just cuts him wide open. He's okay, I guess. I mean, I don't. That was really the gist of it. Was the article that I saw, but luckily she had made the first payment early, so the car deal stuck. But beyond that, I don't know what happened. But that was the last I heard of her. But
Why did the mom call the finance manager?
she said, "Hey, I don't know if you saw the news or not, but my daughter, she was in a little incident, and I don't know what we're supposed to do with the car, but she's going to be away for a while." And that's really all she
Oh
said. And
my
then
God.
he pulled it up online, searched her name, and lo and behold, that's what was happened. The day after she wanted me to hang out, so it was a good thing I was already seeing somebody because that would have been I don't know what would have happened to me. I would have ended up in the
In the
in Lake
news.
Mead or something.
Would you have been desperate enough if you were single to hang out with her though?
I mean, she looked normal. She didn't look like weird or anything. Like she was my age, but it was just like there was a lot of red flags just from talking to her throughout the experience. So I just knew right out of the gate, like this is not something that's even worth it, even if I, hadn't been with, my girlfriend who I'm still with. But it was absolutely insane.
Was
Whole experience.
was that in Vegas or was that in?
Yeah, that was at that's
No
when I worked
way.
at Nissan. Yeah.
Really? At Nissan. All right.
Well, it's still
makes sense.
Isn't it crazy doing this job? Isn't it crazy how many people are not normal in the world that
Yeah,
we
and it's
interact
kind
with?
of concerning.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.